All right, so today we are taking apart and reassembling a Sebenza 21, Chris Reeves Sebenza 21. You can probably tell just by looking. All right, so here's how we're going to do this. The tool that Chris Reeves sends right here. Okay, we'll get the cloth out of the way. So you start at the pivot. Start at the pivot. You take this apart. Get this out of here. Okay. So there's that. You can just push that through. So there's the female. At this point, you should be able to slide that blade out of there like that perfectly. All right, now you've got your large washer. And then on your lock bar side, you've got your small washer. And you are going to want to make sure that you keep track of these different components and where they wind up, because they do need to go back into specific places. If they do not, then you are going to have problems, and you might even wind up damaging the knife, and then you need to send it back to Chris or Chris Reeve Knives, and then they'll take care of things. Okay, so the blade is out, the washer's out, so now we can go ahead and take the handle apart. I'm not going to bother taking off the pocket clip. One, because I don't need to. Two, because it's kind of a pain. It's in there. It's seated in there really well. Again, you're talking about a knife that has some of the highest tolerances out there. So everything fits together just so really snugly. And so the pocket clip, it can be a little bit of a pain. There's that, and trying to keep my pieces all kind of together. And there's that one. Comes apart rather easily. That goes up there with those. That goes there, and you can take the lanyard pin out, and that goes up there. All right. So as you can see now, we have this disassembled. So you're going to want to just go like so, kind of clean things up a bit. All right, I just had this thing apart the other day, so I don't really have to go through all that thoroughly with like Windex or alcohol or anything like that, because as you can see, there's not a whole lot of detritus kicking around. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put this thing back together. First, we're going to focus on the handle. So put the lanyard pin in. Throw the female in there like this. We can throw that other one in here like this. See the different sizes in the collars? All three are different. This one goes back here, this one goes up here, and then this one will seat right inside that pivot swinging hole there for the blade. Okay, so now that those are on there, we can go ahead and put the handle back together like so. Drop this in here. Oh. Greasy fingers. So that goes like that. Make sure that the Allen key is fully seated before you start turning it. And the last thing you want to do is strip one of these screws. They are hardy screws. They are good screws. However, you can screw them up. And again, at that point, you're going to need to send that back to Chris Reeve Knives, because they got the parts and you do not. Okay, so the handle's back together. So now what we can do is we can go ahead. I use 85 nano oil on this. It's a little more viscous than the stuff that Chris Reeves sends you. And a lot of guys that take their knives apart, they will use some of their own lubricant. Nothing against Chris's stuff. Chris has got some really nice stuff, but I find that this stuff here, because I don't because I don't wait long periods of time before cleaning my Sebenza yet again and then again and then again, I can get away with using stuff that's a little more viscous, that it allows for a little more, it allows the blade a little more, it swings a little more freely while still maintaining that hydraulic presence, that hydraulic feel. Again, so when you want to make sure that you put your large washer on the presentation side, because the small washer goes on this side. Okay, so that goes there. Perfect. There we go. And so now we've got that like that. So now what we can do is, again, tolerances are very, very tight. So this should just slide in perfectly like that. To press the lock bar, get that lined up, and then you can put your female in. Put the female receptacle in for the pivot. That just pops in like so. And then I would recommend using, again, blue Loctite, not Satan's blood. You want to be able to pull this thing apart in the future. And using red Loctite is just, it's evil. Red Loctite is evil. I'll go on record as saying that red Loctite is evil. For our purposes, especially. Alright, so that goes in there, and then we can just, oh, come on. Cooperate here. Big clumsy fingers generally don't help with this kind of thing, and I happen to own 10 of them. Okay, there we go. So that is in there. Tighten that up. Because I've got big, clumsy, greasy fingers, we'll just kind of do another little clean job here. And that is how you pull apart, clean, and put back together your Sebenza 21. Now pull the lock bar aside. Absolutely no blade play there. Absolutely no side-to-side blade play there. Right? There you go. Ultra high tolerances, and again, you're not looking for anything drop shutty, which it is not. Blade centering is perfect. Action, great. Beautiful, beautiful hydraulic type action there, which is exactly what they advertise at the Chris Reeves shop. And as advertised, it is exactly that. All right, so this is how you disassemble, clean, and then reassemble your Chris Reeves Sebenza 21.